Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Useless Aggression podcast. I am James, and joining me, as usual, is Henry.
Hey, how's it going?
I should also say, right off the top, I just want to get this out there. There is technically someone else joining us. They're not wearing a microphone, but you will probably pick them up on my microphone. To give you a very brief uh, update, my dog is visiting me at the minute. He's a bit loud. He's a little pug. He's currently sat in between my legs, and he snores quite loud. So you might hear some weird noises throughout. Don't worry, it's not the microphone's breaking or it's not Henry snoring at my incredible comments. It's my dog. So I just wanted to get that right away off the top. Um, so we've had a little bit of time to decompress from Super Showdown that happened on Thursday night. What we I don't think as an event it warrants every match being talked through because overall it was quite a rubbish event in terms of the quality of matches. I'm just going to get that out there as my opinion. But Henry, what did you think of the event in total, like on the whole?
I pretty much said it. I think there was. I thought both the tag matches were okay, but they were like TV show okay. If they were on like Raw or SmackDown, I'd be like, oh wow, this was pretty good. But considering it was supposed to be a big event, you were just it just. I think the end ruined everything as well. I'm just not over that end. I'm just, it's just so bad.
Yeah, we will talk about the end in more detail because it definitely warrants it. Um, yeah, I feel like that with all the matches were just kind of TV quality. Even I'd say the cage match was probably the equivalent of a SmackDown cage match. It's not. Uh, yeah, it's just. It seemed like not a lot of effort was going in.
I thought the Miz one, that was a good, that was actually a pretty good tag match in that teams obviously have chemistry, and I think in the future, a couple more matches, especially if you introduce the Usos as well, that could be some pretty epic matches going down the line. But I mean, yeah, the only things I really liked about it, I know we disagreed on this, but I actually quite liked how they introduced the Undertaker to the Styles thing. I don't like that Styles literally took one choke slam and was out. That was awful. Um, I literally R-Truth hit him with nothing, and but I liked if Undertaker literally just turned up and then I don't know tombstoned him and chokeslammed him or something like that. Had a bit more offense in there, then I would have been like, this was a really good idea. But also how he just absolutely mugged off the trophy at the end. That was the best bit. He just literally looked at him.
That was the best bit. So we can go into more detail on this match definitely. Firstly, our truth out of seemingly nowhere gets a Kofi moment where he can go through the gauntlet quite far.
Yeah, I liked it for the first two. And then I would have preferred if Andrade and Eric Rowan had like swapped around and then Andrade eliminated him because he's actually really good. But you can tell they're still a little bit bitter about the wellness policy violation there, and he wanted to get a little bit of a
Well,
s-
he eliminated both of them. It was because he eliminated Rowan as well.
and then Rowan obviously, yeah,
Attacked him, but the Andrade elimination was terrible. The
that was
heads hitting and he
awful.
fell on him. That was terrible. But do you know what? I was watching it with some friends here, and one of them said, "I think our truth's going to win this." And I was just baffled. I was saying, "What?" And
And
then
he's got a rap album out now as well. They need to promote that. What better way than winning the Twake Trophy?
this is what they were saying. After the event, there was a WWE 24 on our truth, so surely he's going to get a good showing in. And then, yeah, he did, and I'm happy for the guy because I love him as a human being. But it was a bit strange seeing him beat. Did he go all the way to near the? Oh no, because then AJ Styles came out fifth, so he made it
Yeah.
quite far.
If he beat Styles, I would have turned the show off at the first match. I would have been like,
Yeah,
"No way, I can watch this." Like,
I think the Styles thing was, sorry, and the Styles and Taker thing. I'm not particularly happy about it personally. I would have rather just had Styles win the trophy. Um, he could have come back to Raw and gone on because he kept calling himself Mr. WrestleMania, and now he's this trophy winner, and there's no one who's worthy of stepping up. And then you could have set up a feud where Undertaker came back and you know says how he retired the last Mr. WrestleMania, and then they can have their match. And equally, review what you said. AJ Styles came out to R-Truth didn't land a single move on AJ. AJ just danced a little bit, beat him, and then gets about 10 minutes recovery time because it takes so long for the Undertaker to get to the ring, and then Undertaker chokeslams him once, and it's over. It was really it was quite poor in that regard. This is AJ Styles, one of the best wrestlers in the world. Probably, yeah, I don't think it's going that much on a stretch to say he's the best wrestler in the WWE.
Oh, easily.
Um, and he gets beaten by one choke slam from the Undertaker.
I
It's
mean,
like, okay,
obviously,
cool.
Undertaker squashed Cena, but at least he hit him with a tombstone, a choke slam. I think 2 choke slams possibly.
Yeah.
He
And
actually battered him, like
even in that one, you kind of had the um, I don't know. I'd say the magic of the moment of he fought Elias and then was going up the ramp and then suddenly had to run back to the ring and it was all very quick. Undertaker does still take a while to get to the ring. But AJ Styles, it he takes so long coming down. You get over that. It's
but yeah, I
it
liked
was a
it as
bit
well.
weird.
It was like, oh, the opponent must be in the ring in the next 10 seconds, and it got to, like, 5, and I was just sat there like, I mean, I don't wanna ruin the moment, but he's been counting out about 8 minutes ago, and he's still not even out of the ring.
Technically speaking, the Undertaker the lightning should have struck. He'd have stuck Ward's out onto the top of the stage, and the referee would have gone 10. That's it.
But
The
can we just
match is over.
appreciate the trophy as well? What was that? It looked like way back when they used to get those Ice Age ice lollies that used to stick
Yes,
to
it
your feet.
did.
It looked
Yes,
like one of them. It
and
looked awful.
that's what Undertaker must have thought. He just stared at it and then walked off. It was a part of us. I mean, was wondering if he was, going to then cut a promo and say, like, "All for my career, the one thing that's always eluded me is the Twig Trophy, and now I finally captured this." And, break down. Michelle McCool comes out and hugs him. Kane comes out and hugs him as he's holding the trophy high above his head. But that wasn't to happen. He just absolutely mugged it off.
I'm not surprised. I think AJ Styles, having seen the trophy, probably wasn't that gutted he lost it in the end. He was
Yeah,
probably like, "Do
I
you know
wouldn't
what?
be that upset
I
if I
think
were him.
he could have easily got up from the chokeslam." He was like, "I just don't want to take that trophy home."
Also, what a Rey Mysterio having to fly out there to
Yeah.
just get attacked backstage, brilliant. Um, but I know I want to move on from the opening of the show to what was easily the biggest story of the show, and that is that Mansoor and his undefeated streak are
It
still
lives
going
on.
strong.
It lives on.
The biggest streak in WWE history, I think it's easy to say.
I think it's the
Uh,
only one that matters anyway.
the best fireworks display of the night. That compared to what Goldberg had coming out was absolutely hilarious.
Do you think they just ran out of money by that point? They were like, "Ah, shit, we ran out of money for fireworks, it's the sparklers."
Spent all our money on Mansoor. Okay, cool. Who the fuck's that? Um, there is actually one thing I do want to talk about in this match. Um, his moonsault. You probably just heard the dog snoring. Then he started snoring now. Um, he horribly misjudged that moonsault and brings his knees right down onto Dolph Ziggler's ribs. And then I felt a bit awkward because he's obviously then pinned him and he's off celebrating, and it's amazing because, oh my god, the guy from Saudi Arabia's won the match. Dolph Ziggler is lying in the ring, genuinely in a lot of pain. He botches that moonsault a treat.
There's another great moment in the match as well that I noticed. There's a bit when, Ziggler's outside on the apron and Mansoor leans over through the ropes and Ziggler punches him in the face. And I don't know what Mansoor's doing at the time. I think he's looking at the ref or something, and then he sort of realizes he's supposed to have been hit in the face about 5 seconds later, and then just drops to the net flo ring hol drops to the floor holding his nose, and it's amazing. Like, it's the latest reaction I've ever seen to anything ever.
Is it as bad as when Jinder Mahal, Jeff Hardy missed the
Miss
whistle in the wind, and Jinder Mahal dropped to the ring still?
It wasn't that bad. I mean, nothing is Jinder Mahal bad. But I mean Dolph Ziggler, I think in this match, to be fair to him, did a very good job of putting Mansoor. I mean, Dolph Ziggler's a fantastic at selling, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's a bag for life. He's such a good carrier.
He did a really good job of putting Mansoor over, but equally, he can only polish a turd so much.
Yeah, and now he'll Mansoor goes back into the protective glass case that they only break on emergencies when they're in Saudi Arabia. So um, that we will never see him again for
For
a little
sort of
while.
6 months till the next one, Crown Jewel,
Yeah,
probably.
Don't get me right. So we spoke briefly about Undertaker's squash. Now there was another squash later in the night, which was Ricochet Brock Lesnar, and I was so disappointed by this. It was everything I didn't want this match to be. I
Yeah,
get I get it was a throwaway title match. I get they wanted Brock Lesnar to be able to send a dominating message to Drew McIntyre. I understand that they're doing this big show in Saudi Arabia and Brock Lesnar is a big name, but I wanted Ricochet to be able to land a move. It
yeah.
is such a shame. The video before the match of Ricochet saying all this stuff about how he's still got a chance and don't count him out went on longer than the match.
I thought that was a pretty good little promo as well, actually. I was like watching that and I was like, yeah, you know, let's get a good outing from Ricochet here. And then went for a drop kick and I was like, he was going for it and got like literally backhanded away. And then that was the end of the match, basically. He just got like to he literally backhand slapped a drop kick away and then absolutely assaulted the life out of Ricochet. But yeah, I because obviously like Lesnar does so well against like smaller opponents, like the match with Bryan, the match with Styles, to name a few. I thought, and Rollins as well. Actually, to be fair, like the sort of smaller, more athletic-y, flippy wrestlers. And I thought maybe Ricochet could get a good like 7 or 8 minutes. I mean, he's never going to win, but maybe get that one moment where everyone thinks, "Oh my god, he might actually win this one," and then like Lesnar will catch him doing a flip or something and F5 him, and that's how he wins. But
Yeah, that was it.
yeah,
As soon as he charged him and Lesnar just kind of swatted him away and then started punching in the ribs, I was went, "Oh no, this is over already." I was hoping Ricochet would be able to land a single move of offense. It's such a shame because Ricochet is so talented as well. It's just upsetting to see. I get why. I get they're sending the message to Drew McIntyre and all this, but it's it just seems like such a shame to have someone as talented as Ricochet um, just have to go out there for that. Really, I mean, he probably won't be complaining because he'll get a big payday. But um, yeah, it's quite upsetting.
I don't know where they go with him going forward either now, Ricochet, because
Yeah, what do you do with him
yeah,
now?
he's just like there's that guy that got beaten in a minute and a half by Brock Lesnar. It's like, yeah,
And then we've got our other title match. This is the big story of the event.
ugh.
So Goldberg has beaten the Fiend, and well, yeah, he's now the Universal Champion.
I don't know what to say. I watched it, and so when he speared him at the beginning, and then Bray Wyatt kicked out straight away, I was like, nice, that's quite cool. I like that. And then he got the mandible claw, and I was like, yeah, cool. Obviously, Goldberg's not going to lose straight away, so I was like, yeah, fair enough. And then he speared him 3 more times, and I was like, "Oh, no." And then obviously kicked out at 2, and I was like, "Okay." And then the worst jackhammer ever.
Well, it's a suplex, really, wasn't it?
It wasn't really a jackhammer, yeah, and then that was it. He mandible Fiend's mandible clawed him twice. The man who took, like, 8 stomps, whatever it was.
Well, that's my right. So there is. I mean, there's lots of issues I have with this, but to try and justify some of them first, like to play the devil's advocate. So we know that the WWE are in negotiations about selling their pay-per-views to ESPN. Uh, fine. They think that Goldberg versus Reigns is a bigger draw because Goldberg is a bigger name than the Fiend. I get that, and that's why they want to sell this to ESPN for. Equally, you're coming up to WrestleMania season. WrestleMania is their version of the Super Bowl. There's going to be media appearances, etc. Goldberg is a much friendlier face to stick on a morning chat show than the Fiend. So, from the business sense, I understand what they've done.
Yeah.
However, they have built the firstly. This is the big travesty of it. The Fiend is the best thing the WWE has done in years.
Oh,
Uh,
easily, easily.
and I'm gonna say in the last 5 years, it could be in the last 10. I like my memory doesn't go back as far as to when someone was this. Um, and maybe CM Punk when CM Punk after his mic drop. Um, but other than that, I'd say Fiend is the biggest thing they've done in so long. And um, we've seen him dominate Finn Balor to the point where Finn Balor has to go heel. We've seen him dominate The Miz, and he turned The Miz heel. We've seen Seth Rollins get disqualified in a Hell in a Cell match, which in itself was a terrible decision because he couldn't do anything to beat him or to keep him down. We've then seen him throw him into, firework area because effectively trying to kill him because they've built him up to be such a fierce opponent that nothing can keep him down. And then a 53-year-old man spears him 5 times and suplexes him, and that's it.
Yeah,
It
it's
doesn't make sense.
like Daniel Bryan and him at Royal Rumble kicked the shit out of each other, and
Yeah.
he was fine. And then he gets up afterwards immediately as well, and then he stares at Goldberg. And then I thought, "Oh, you know what? Maybe they'll get a rematch in, Elimination Chamber." There was that naive bit of me that was like, "Maybe they'll get a rematch in here, and the Fiend can win it back, just so they get the Saudis go home happy, and then the real fans can come back and get happy again." But no, it's obviously from what we've seen on SmackDown, that's not the case now. But
Yeah, the only thing that's the saving grace with that was at least we they might be able to play an angle that the Fiend just didn't want the title anymore, and he was very much like I was happy to lose it because I didn't care. Um, and maybe he can even tie that into his feud with John Cena and be like, "Look, I dropped the title because I wanted you. I didn't want Roman Reigns." That's the other thing that kind of baffles me as well is we move on to SmackDown the next night. Goldberg comes out, and obviously he's, oh, I've just won the title, but who's next? Roman Reigns just walks out, and that's it. It's been made. It's a match now. Great. It,
yeah, and I mean, so I read about SmackDown before I watched some bits of it, and the bit I read on Bleacher Report, and it was like, oh, the crowd, massive pop. Roman Reigns came out, and then like he cheered, everyone went mental when he said, "I'm next," which I thought was a pretty cool line actually. But I watched it back, and I was like, you have about maybe half the crowd are like, "Yay!" And
yeah,
then
it's a 50-50.
everyone's just like, I mean, whether we like it or not, I guess this is the match, and it's not going to go long because of course it won't, and it's just going to
No,
be a spear off. It's gonna be ridiculous.
the thing that also for me is that's the other thing I think when they took the title off the thing because the Fiend versus Reigns. If Reigns wins, they're setting up for Reigns' WrestleMania moment. I mean, he's had about 10, but whatever.
Another, yeah,
Um,
any moment.
they've if he beats the Fiend, he gets booed. If he beats Goldberg, he might get cheered. But what I think that's more likely to happen, I feel like this is Vince having a short memory. This really reminds me of Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 33, where the fans just didn't care. It's not that they're really invested in Goldberg being, oh, we're so angry at Goldberg doing this. Thank God Roman Reigns has come to save us. I think the fans are just going to go, we don't really care about either of you. There was a chant on SmackDown of you both suck. Um, and I think the issue, if I was WWE playing this personally, I need Goldberg to go heel straight off the bat. I need Goldberg to come out on SmackDown. I know this is something that he doesn't usually do, but you need him to come out and almost be like, look, I don't even care that some of you are annoyed that I beat the Fiend because I am who I am. Almost playing a Lesnar-esque card, but speaking for himself, because then you can get the fans wanting someone to take the title off him. But the issue is they've just gone with this lame ass start. The fans are already like, great, I don't care about this, and I feel like you're going to get another beach ball moment from WrestleMania 33.
I don't think it's gonna close the show though. I think it will be
I bloody hope not. It'll be McIntyre Lesnar, but
and yeah, it was also yeah, 34 was the one with 33 was Undertaker, which was equally a sour
oh god, yeah. Sorry, I keep saying 33.
yeah, I think the only thing I have, which is a slight saving grace of this, is at WrestleMania 33, when Goldberg fought Lesnar and Lesnar won the title off Goldberg. I actually quite enjoyed that match because it was
It
what like
was a good match.
long.
Yeah,
It was just spot after spot after spot, and that's the only way they can make this good. But the difference is everyone kind of wanted Lesnar to win that one, but I don't think people are really that bothered about Reigns.
yeah.
The only hope is King Corbin comes in and screws him out of the match. Who knows? But interestingly, though, the one thing I did think almost going on to the other big thing from SmackDown with obviously the Fiend and Cena. Do you think there's scope that this will be Cena's last match and the Fiend retires him? Because obviously he gave that really passionate speech, didn't he? Which was like, WrestleMania doesn't really need John Cena. I'm giving it to the new people now. Like this isn't goodbye for now, but it is a goodbye. And then the Fiend obviously comes out, and then I'm thinking you could have the Fiend could feasibly end because John Cena. I mean, I love the guy. It's no secret I love John Cena, but eventually he does have to retire, and he will be put in a retirement match. And I think there's no one actually better in the company right now than the Fiend to end his career. So what message does that send as well? I mean, yeah, obviously Goldberg beat him in like what 5 minutes, but then if he's the guy that retires John Cena, that is like infinite heat forever. And he is established himself then as the big monster, and almost straight away then he can almost go back into a feud with Reigns. He can go into a feud with anyone because no matter what Reigns or anyone else says, he can be like, I'm the guy that ended John Cena's career. Because there has been talks for a few years, last few years now, of John Cena being in a retirement match at WrestleMania, and do you reckon this could be the one?
I don't know. I see what you mean. I always think that Cena will win a 17th title. Um, I think, and I would almost rather that the Fiend retained and Cena challenged him for the 17th title, because then you have something big on the line. I think Cena is the perfect opponent for the Fiend because this is pure good versus pure evil. Um, I really hope they play on the fact that, as kind of said earlier, the Fiend has turned Balor heel, Rollins heel. Um, he's turned. Who else did he turn heel?
Oh,
The
Daniel
Miz
Bryan didn't he
has
didn't
gone.
turn Daniel Bryan heel, but he turned him edgy and he got rid of his beard.
Yeah, so he's changed people that he's gone up against, and now I think we're at a point with Cena almost similar to their feud at WrestleMania a few years ago, where he was trying to get John Cena to go heel and like embrace the darkness. And I feel like that's something that could happen. There's one other thing I want to. This is kind of jumping between matches that we're talking about, but it Reigns and Goldberg at WrestleMania. Considering Reigns is supposed to be the guy at WrestleMania, sorry, the guy for WWE right now. He's their big dog. You know, he's the new John Cena, the new Rock, all that jazz. If you look at his WrestleMania matches, they are crap. The ones he's had, and I've got the list of them here. You had the Shield versus Billy Gunn, Kane, and Road Dogg at one point.
I remember that match. That was that. I think that one, to be fair, was because the match before it was Bryan and Triple H, and that overran.
Yeah,
But equally, yeah, it wasn't a very good match.
but he's against some part timers there. Um, at one point, you've had them versus Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show. It's not that impressive an opponent. He's faced the Undertaker, part timer, an old part timer as well. He's faced Triple H, who, don't get me wrong, Triple H is great, but he's an old part timer. He's faced Brock Lesnar twice, old part timer. Now he's facing Goldberg. Um, it, he's probably the most impressive opponent he's faced at a WrestleMania is Drew McIntyre last year. But considering he's supposed to be the guy, he does a lot of going around and fighting. They keep booking him in matches against these old names. Um, I, and that's I don't know. I'd rather see I'd rather see him just go and have a match with Rollins. You know, he's a brilliant wrestler. Go and have a match with him. Go and have a great match with the Fiend because the Fiend is the hottest thing we've made in years. Go and have a match against. Go and have a match against John Cena. That's massive. That's a passing of the torch moment. You know, but yeah, it's just really upsetting that once again we're just going to see Reigns beating up an old man at WrestleMania.
I think that's more a testament to um, what WWE is like around WrestleMania season, though, isn't it? Because they always seem to rely on all these part timers because that's the big marquee match. Because obviously, whether we obviously you say it's all part timers and stuff, like obviously everyone knows a match with the Undertaker is pretty special. Like most people he fights, they've always been huge. It's been like one of the big bouts, the Undertaker. And then obviously Triple H again always has these ridiculously long WrestleMania matches, and that's kind of like a thing you just have at WrestleMania. It's almost like the new Undertaker, and he fights at WrestleMania. Although he's not fighting this year, apparently.
No, but this is the issue I think they're going to have though down the line is part of the struggle of when they moved on from the Attitude Era into the Ruthless Aggression Era was they didn't have these stars because they didn't invest enough in building stars. And right now, WWE is very top heavy, and that's great. But if you don't take the time to build these people to be stars now, it's great because at the minute you can ask Undertaker to come back and Triple H to come back because they're physically fit enough to do it. But in 10 years' time, they're not going to be, and then you lose your star marquee power. Um, and one fact that I saw from the event, this is from Twitter. This was someone called CJ, who said, so AJ Styles is 12 years younger than the Undertaker, and Taker beat him in 7 seconds. Ricochet
Yeah.
is 11 years younger than Brock Lesnar. Lesnar won in 2 minutes. Bray Wyatt is 21 years younger than Goldberg. Goldberg wins in 3 minutes. It just shows that WWE right now are not doing a good job of building new young stars. They keep relying on the old names, and they get by because they have got a good roster at the minute. But you just look at it and you think, what's going to happen if when your old stars are too old to bring back? Are you going to be able to fill a WrestleMania card and still have star power? Because I don't. I feel like they're going to have an issue.
So also if they do rely too heavily as well, you might see people such as, for example, the Revival, who it's very likely they're going to jump ship to AEW.
But exactly, Revival going to go, and you do have to wonder if more people. That's the other side of it. If you keep bringing these old people back, if I was a, um, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a wrestler that would kind of sum it up, like a Kevin Owens, who I hope to God doesn't go, because Kevin Owens is my favorite thing on WWE in the current product. But um, if I was him, I'd be like, right, I was Universal Champion. I was pretty good at being the Universal Champion as well. I had an amazing um, relationship with Chris Jericho. Their angle was fantastic. Their rivalry then was great. I had to drop the title to Goldberg. That's a piece of crap. And he's probably not the best example because he has been doing a lot on Raw currently, but he has to look at the fact that Goldberg is going in at WrestleMania again, and Undertaker's going in WrestleMania again, and Lesnar's coming in at WrestleMania again. And I get that WWE wants the star names, but a talent like that might be thinking, what do I need to do more to have my moment at WrestleMania? Like I have carried Raw this year. Um, what more am I supposed to do? And then he might go, do you know what? I'm going to sod off and go to AEW, where they do a good job of it.
I think, yeah, there's moments. I mean, obviously Rollins has beaten Lesnar what 2 times in the last year now. He beat him at WrestleMania. He beat him pretty quickly.
Yeah, they seem to have set up a weird angle where only Seth Rollins is able to beat Brock Lesnar. It's a bit strange,
I
but
do think. I mean, obviously, even when he was this cult leader, Bray Wyatt, I think there's always been this talk that obviously nowhere near the same sort of superstar level, but of Bray Wyatt potentially becoming the new Undertaker esque, like face of fear kind of whatever superstar. And I think you might see that start this year. Obviously, with Cena. 'Cause I mean, I'm pretty sure Bray Wyatt will beat Cena. No, no, I love Cena, but I feel like it'd be a terrible, terrible idea if Cena
if
beats the Fiend.
if Cena beats the Fiend is over
That
as
is
a
it, yeah.
character.
Like,
They've killed him in the
the thing
space
is,
of a
I
few
think
months.
I think Cena will wanna put him over. Like, I'll be
I
in.
think he would as well. I don't think Cena is the type of guy that will. Uh, I think they made a mistake having Cena beat him the first time round, and
Yeah.
I think Cena is wise enough to know, let's not make that mistake again. Equally, as I said, I do think that at some point they're going to have to give Cena a 17th title. It seems weird having him lingering on this 16th so long, and I would be surprised if that's also kind of part of the negotiations. Like they could go, look, you're going to come back, you're going to lose at WrestleMania, but at some point in the year we'll give you the record-breaking title, and you can be
See,
the new,
what I'd love to
you know.
happen, what I 'cause it's the 2 things that he has left to do in his career, and this is more just like fancy booking now, is win a 17th title and at one point be a heel. And I was like, I'd love it if the Fiend beats Cena to the point where he just gets really pissed off and he's there like, "Do you know what? Fuck it. I wanna be the 17-time world champion. I'm gonna do it my way." And then he sort of like becomes a heel. It'll never happen because obviously he's like the Hulk Hogan on like Hulk Hogan times 5 of being
You
fake.
say that, but it, th-
He wants to be a heel at one
but
point in his
also
career. He really
he's not
badly
selling the merch anymore.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's not there. They don't need his merch sales. the ironic thing is, I would love to see Cena go heel, but the most ironic thing if he does it is the cheer that would happen for Cena doing something like a heel will be bigger than any cheer he's had in the last however many years when he's been a face. Like if you just saw him just walk out to the ring, just steel chair and just I don't know smash Naomi over the head with a steel chair,
Why Naomi?
people would. it's it's
As far as heel moves go.
It's because I have the pictures up of the matches from Super Showdown, and that is the match that was there. And obviously, if you hit Bailey, that would be a face move because she's the heel. So, sorry, Naomi. In this hypothetical storyline,
Sets up
John
a
Cena
massive
hits you in
feud
the
with
head.
the Usos as a result.
Um, but yeah, it would be a massive cheer because everyone would be like, "Thank God, he's finally done it." So, um, the weird other problem that I think Showdown has presented is there is so Super Showdown was Thursday night. 8 days after, or is it nine technically? Friday, Saturday. Yeah, so like 9 days afterwards is Elimination Chamber, which they have had no build to. They'd booked that women's one for the Raw side. That was the only match they had booked. They have two Smackdowns and one Raw to build up an entire pay per view card. And they on Smackdown they did get to quick work. There's now going to be a tag team Elimination Chamber match, which is good because I quite liked the tag team Elimination Chamber match from before.
So the thing that's gonna be weird with it as well, though, is because of this whole, obviously Reigns announcement on Goldberg, there's no there's actually also Becky Lynch as well. So with the exception of assuming there's going to be a women's title match in there, there's none of the big titles are on the line. So obviously
Yeah,
Raw one's not going to be on the line because the winner faces Becky Lynch in that elimination chamber match. Obviously Reigns and Goldberg is now a thing, and obviously Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar is now a thing. So unless Bailey puts her belt on the line, none of the big four titles are on the line, which is
no, I completely
awful from a
and
sales point of view.
Bailey is either it looks like she's going to face Naomi one on one because Naomi did pin her on SmackDown, but then with Lacey Evans getting involved and Sasha Banks coming back, could be we're going to have an Elimination Chamber
Yeah, you've
match.
got Carmella lingering around. You could probably chuck Mandy Rose or someone in there as well.
Yeah, and then you have the angle of I guess are they going to go with will Bailey first of all just retain, or are they going to go with Naomi actually beating her, or is Sasha Banks at the moment she's going to betray Bailey, and then they'll go with the Banks and Bailey match.
See, I read somewhere I'm saying this earlier. Like I said, it's in the first episode. If you haven't, go back and listen to it 'cause it's really good. Um,
It's probably the best thing that's ever been
I think,
made.
but as far as second debut episodes go, it's pretty good. Um, but I really want this match to happen at some point. In fact, if you go back into our previous podcast, we did a draft, and I drafted both Bailey and Sasha Banks, and our like booked card we would do. I had them face each other because I think their NXT matches, especially the one in Brooklyn, was amazing. I think it's a really, really good match. They have really good chemistry with each other. They're both really good at obviously in that one it was a very face Bailey and very heel Sasha Banks. I think they could work that angle really well. But I think the problem is it's not time now. So after Elimination Chamber, there's what, 4 weeks, 5 weeks to WrestleMania? And that's one of those feuds where you need like months and months of build up. You need one of them eventually turning on the other one. You need the big storyline in there. And you need it to be a big like one of these matches that goes on for like 15 minutes or whatever, and it would be amazing. But now, if they had a match, it would be like second or third match on the card. It would be about 8 minutes long, and it would just be flat. And I don't think they deserve. The people don't want that either.
The other issue I would have if they had a match at WrestleMania is um, it, you Sasha Banks was a terrible face. Bailey as a face grew tired very quickly. They work as heels. You're going to have to turn one of them face, and realistically it has to be Banks. And I hate Sasha Banks as a face. She's so bland and so boring.
Yeah, she's a very good heel as well. Yeah,
She's a good heel, but she just comes out and she just goes, "Oh, I am the boss," and that's about it. Like that, she is such a terrible
legit.
face. Oh yeah, sorry, the legit boss. She bored me, and I was so. Um, the thing is, with I get that, and there's a lot of people that are guilty of this. Is I'm not just picking on these two, but if you didn't watch NXT at all, I don't think there's any evidence that Sasha Banks and Bailey are good on their main roster runs. I think that they've never really amazed me in a match. The only times I think they have had great matches is they've both been in the ring against Charlotte, and I think that's because Charlotte is genuinely the best women's wrestler of all time and
Yeah, it's
elevates
hard to
them.
argue that, yeah.
Like Becky Lynch has done amazing things since she's come up. Charlotte does amazing things. Asuka has had some great matches. Sasha Banks and Bailey made the main card and would just have been average in their performances. They were flat faces, and now they're quite interesting heels. I'd like to see them have this match because of the fact that I think we'll get it. We'll get their NXT selves. We will have a great match between two very talented wrestlers who haven't had the chance to show on the main roster what they are truly capable of. But to do it, we're gonna have to have terrible legit boss back, and I'll be like, "Oh,
There is
great."
one thing though I have read, I'm not sure how they can build to it in time, but it's kind of more me trying to put 2 and 2 together perhaps. So on the initial Dave Meltzer card, which obviously is now already changed because there's no John Cena Elias and no Roman Reigns versus The Fiend, but there were 4 women matches on the card. Obviously the women it's supposed to be it was on the original one, it was Bayley, Naomi sorry, 5 women matches on the card, sorry. It was obviously Bayley, Naomi, Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, Shayna Baszler, a women's tag match, and then there was just another women's match. And then quite recently, did you see that thing that Trish Stratus put on Twitter?
Isn't there Trish Stratus versus Sasha Banks now rumored?
Yes, because Trish Stratus on her Instagram or Twitter or something was like celebrating her 20 years since her debut, and she put like 20 years of Stratusfaction or something, and the picture was those two facing off against each other at like Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And every time they have been in the ring together, I think it's only been possibly that Royal Rumble, maybe another time, they've always squared off with each other, and there's always been a good bit of back and forth between the 2. So there is on the initial Meltzer card, I mean, granted, it's already changed, these 2 massive changes, but there were 5 women matches on the card, and obviously that's floating around as well now as an idea. I don't think there's enough time to really build it, but we never know. I mean, there's apparently rumors that they're gonna have Beth Phoenix and Natalya face the Kabuki Warriors, and there's obviously no evidence that that's gonna be built towards yet either. So who knows? Obviously, there's still weeks to go, but
I have heard that. I'm up for that because I love Beth Phoenix. I still think Beth Phoenix is fantastic.
I love
I hate Natalia so much. Oh my god, if I could walk into WE and just start firing people, Natalia would probably be I I'm trying to work out who I'd fire first. I'd probably fire Alicia Fox first. I think she's still employed, and
she's still employed, like
I think so. I'd fire Natalia pretty soon after that. I'd be like, she's so like I get her family's legacy. Um, I get Tyson Kidd and his horrible injury, and that's very unfortunate. Um, can you ever tell me when Natalia has had a match that I will say is better than? I'll be lenient here. Better than 3 stars.
um, she had that table match with Ruby Riott. I quite
That
enjoyed
wasn't a good match. It was a
I
very
quite
bland match.
I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say it was 3 stars good. I could watch it 'cause I mean, obviously, everyone likes table matches. Like, I could watch it and be like, "Yeah, this was alright," but I wouldn't give it more than 3 stars.
Yeah, the best thing about a table match is the fact they had stickers on the tables does not make for a good tables match. A good tables match is the Hardys versus the Dudleys at Royal Rumble 2000, you know. But yeah, but that's it. And she's just bland, and we always have to treat Natalia like she's some sort of legend. I'm going off on a rant here, but this is happening. But they're always, oh, Natalia, she's got all this experience, and she's so good. What's she done? What has she achieved? She is bland. She is boring. She is terrible on the microphone. She's not good. There are good wrestlers in the division right now. Like you've got, as we said, like you've got your Charlottes, your Becky Lynches. Sasha Banks and Bailey have the potential to be brilliant. They don't necessarily always show it on the main roster. And then you look at the fact of like you've got people like Bianca Belair, you've got Rhea Ripley. There are Shayna Baszler, fine. Like, I'm not a massive biggest fan, but I am happy with what they're doing with her. Um, Even Naomi is exciting to watch in the ring. Carmella is brilliant on the mic and quite good in the ring as well, actually. Uh, Asuka, Kairi Sane, there are great wrestlers, female wrestlers in this company, and then we always have to give time to Natalia for whatever reason.
Although I have now got up for Jane, to answer your question, what has she ever achieved? She is the, one-time Divas champion. the one-time Smackdown Women's Champion, twice entered into the Canadian Hall of Fame. But the one you'll like is in 2013, she won the Wrestling Observer Newsletter's Worst Works Match of the Year.
There you go.
However, the
But
match,
it's
have you seen the people in this match? This match was Brie Bella, Cameron, Eva Marie, JoJo, Naomi, and Nikki Bella versus
brilliant.
AJ Lee, Aksana, Alicia Fox, Caitlyn, Rosa Mendes, Summer Rae, and Tamina Snuka. So that's probably Survivor Series.
That
And
is that sums up everything that was wrong with women's wrestling before the women's revolution. Which on a completely different issue, the fact that Bella Twins get in the Hall of Fame is absolutely disgusting. But we'll get to that on a different episode because I will just keep ranting otherwise. Um, I realise we've gone a bit off piste. I'm going to try and bring us back onto some sort of on the track here. We've talked a lot about WWE today, but it is worth noting that tonight, in fact, AEW Revolution is on, and it looks like there's going to be some great matches on there. Looking through the card, y- there's it might be quite refreshing to watch this, considering what
Super.
Super Showdown was. Obviously, Jericho is fantastic. Everyone knows that. Le Champion is he's been an amazing success over there. He's gone off against John Moxley. Their feud's been quite intense. They've got like an eye patch now on Moxley, which kind of is amazing.
His Moxley's and AEW matches are unreal. It's just
Insane, aren't they? And then Cody Rhodes versus MJF, which is a feud they've been building for some time. And Cody Rhodes is like, I feel he could take the easy road on this company. Like he could just be like, yeah, well, I'm one of the vice presidents. I'm just going to win everything, and it's going to be great. He had to take 10 lashes on air. He had a brutal cage match. He's been really working hard.
him and Dustin Rhodes, who was known in the match, had that absolute tear of a match where they both
Yeah,
ended in pools of blood.
pools of blood on the floor. The Young Bucks are fighting on it against Omega and Hangman, which is firstly just that's an incredible match in itself. The Young Bucks are the best tag team in wrestling. Um, Omega and Hangman are great. Again, I love the fact that the Young Bucks, firstly, they're also vice presidents in the company, um, and they are also it's well known they're the best tag team going. Haven't put the title on themselves at any point. And this feud's been quite an interesting one because they're playing on the fact that out of the four of them, Hangman Page is the only one that hasn't got like a president in his title, which is that's yeah, quite an interesting angle. Very close to home, very true.
Like, the whole point was they made the point as well that he was literally just a jobber, and then they put him in Bullet Club.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's interesting. They got some good little to the bone storylines here. I quite like it.
my favourite of all is the fact that Orange Cassidy's on the card.
I love that. Like, he's gonna get destroyed. I mean, he's against Pac.
This is what's really intriguing me about this match. Pac, because also Pac just lost to Kenny Omega in their Iron Man match, um, and it, I can't see Pac losing twice in a row. Equally, they want to keep building Pac as a heel. The best thing he can do is destroy someone who's really over. That is freshly squeezed. But he's so over that they've got to give Orange Cassidy some offense. They've got to,
It's his first actual match in AEW
yeah, singles match in AEW.
match, so you
Um,
can't really lose your first singles match.
but he's so over. And I even love in the build up to it because they announced it on this week's Dynamite, and they were saying they had the best friends next to him, and they were like, at Revolution, he's gonna try, and then they had to reiterate and go, he might try. We're not sure. We don't know what he's gonna do. He is so good. I love Orange Cassidy, so I'm really looking forward to that match. I'm also quite excited because it might open the card, so that would be really good because I can just get the real excitement out of the way. But that's going to be tonight. We're going to say our predictions thing that we do. We are currently just doing for WWE, just to make it easier to keep a track on everything.
I'm obviously still reeling in my loss of the Twake Trophy as well.
Well,
Devastated.
yeah, I've now got the Twig Trophy and the championship, so there is an actual belt on its way that we're making. Now I want a trophy made. Just putting it out there.
I mean, I'm sure I probably could get one of those Ice Age lolly makers
Lollipops, yeah.
on eBay.
We'll we'll do that, and we'll have to get a trophy that we'll compete for on the Saudi shows. But AEW Revolution looks really good. I imagine we'll be on Twitter tweeting about it. So it definitely seems like it's gonna be worth a watch. And yeah, I guess we'll the next time we tune in, we'll be discussing the build up to Elimination Chamber more, and possibly going over some of the AEW Revolution highlights as well. So uh, yeah, it should be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, AEW, I mean, they haven't got a very big hill to climb to beat Super Showdown, let's be honest. But yeah, it should be good. I like what they produced so far, and obviously, don't let's remember it's not all doom and gloom because John Cena is back. The Fiend may have lost the title, but we have got Big Match John back on the card. So it's all
Big
about.
match on, and Mansoor is still undefeated in Saudi Arabia.
That's the best news of the day, I
That
think.
is the best
That's
news.
that's the only thing that kept me going.
We might have to dedicate. Maybe that's what our trophy can be called that we'll compete for, the Mansoor Trophy. In the meantime, while you're waiting for episodes, firstly, feel free to subscribe, and then you get all our future episodes and stuff. I will upload the old episodes from the Bearded Bros as well, so they'll have those as an archive. Um, so yeah, check those out. Feel free to contact us. We've got our own bespoke Twitter now, which is at uselessagpod. You can also contact me at Citadel James.
And you contact me at Henry Rogers 94.
And yeah, feel free to get in touch with any questions, etc., etc. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And thank you very much for listening.
See you later.